an anonymous donation to the Iowa women's basketball team NIL program, and boom, they playing top dollar for her alone. Damn near could get some of these big name young ladies to come to Iowa.
In what appeared to be another standard media interview, Jensen just dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming, and the basketball community is going crazy. The associate head coach of Iowa casually revealed information that has been rumored in recruiting circles for several months. WNBA standout Caitlin Clark, who is said to
NIL deals with Caitlin Clark donating. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm just saying that very much could be the case that Caitlin Clark has single-handedly transformed the roster with her pocketbook.
It appears that she has been working behind the scenes during her professional career to assist Iowa in acquiring not one, not two, but 5 of the top recruits in women's collegiate basketball. This is no longer conjecture. This has been verified, and the ramifications are so significant that they will fundamentally alter both the NCAA and the WNBA. Prior to delving into how this all came to pass,
Jensen has confirmed what we all have been thinking. Caitlin Clark has definitely been helping the Iowa women's basketball team land some of the biggest recruits.
Let's establish the scene. The behemoth that dominates headlines now wasn't always Iowa. Only a couple of years ago, although their program was reputable, no one was discussing it in the same way as South Carolina or UConn. They competed with one another. They weren't elite, but they had heart. Everything changed with the arrival of Caitlin Clark. She did more than simply uplift.
Iowa is one of the most popular schools in all of the college basketball world because of simply one superstar player, and that is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark transitioned and transformed women's basketball to the shape that we know it to be today. She carried on and did the same thing in her profession.
The group's on-court performance. She radically changed the meaning of being an Iowa Hawkeye. Iowa earned consecutive trips to the national championship game under her direction. They lost both times, but it is essentially irrelevant. Iowa was transformed into must-see by Clark.
Caitlin Clark got there. Iowa was not a go-to school. Like, people didn't really it wasn't like a check mark, like, I'm gonna go to Iowa. It wasn't up there with like a UConn, South Carolina, or anything like that. Well, after Caitlin Clark went there, led them to back-to-back national.
In addition to breaking scoring records and selling out venues, she attracted millions of fans who had never been interested in women's basketball. One of the top basketball minds in the nation is Lisa Blutter, the head coach of Iowa. A few
games, and unfortunately they didn't win, but the coaching staff is one of the best in the nation when it comes to basketball. Lisa Blutter arguably could coach an NBA team. That's how basketball Virginia.
If given the opportunity, many people think they could coach in the NBA. Her right hand, Jensen, supported her throughout it all and contributed to the development of a culture based on brave basketball, loyalty, and openness. They created something unique together. Additionally, when
step of the way through it all, alongside Lisa Blutter, putting this thing together and making sure this women's basketball team that we know and love to watch be on the top level that it is today. And I'm here to tell you, they are still a powerhouse school, and Jensen slipped the cat.
After graduating, Clark went to play in the WNBA. They all thought that chapter was closed. Iowa would recover. Life would go on and Clark would move on. However, it was not the case. Not even close. Jensen spoke with local reporters this week on Iowa's recent recruiting efforts and the upcoming season.
That being said, this article came out by Iowa Sports Illustrated. It said Iowa head coach credits Caitlin Clark for recruiting success. Could you imagine being recruited by Caitlin Clark, bro? Like, who's going to tell Caitlin no? Think about this.
It was intended to be a typical feel-good interview regarding the program's momentum and retaining dedicated in-state players. However, Jensen muttered something that had everyone's ears perk up almost casually. She openly and clearly attributed Iowa's success in luring many 5-star prospects to Caitlin Clark. She didn't mean for it to cause controversy.
Caitlin Clark is going to have all the UConn people mad, all the South Carolina people mad. I'm telling you right now, she's going to go pull up to your living room and she's going to recruit you to Iowa.
She actually exuded gratitude and pride. But social media exploded as soon as she said those words. Videos from the interview became viral on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. ESPN's analysts began dissecting it. Whole episodes of the College Basketball Podcast were devoted to analyzing the implications of this. Everyone's most pressing query wasn't,
What Jim and Caitlin Clark, bro? Caitlin Clark can have Iowa turn into a top 10 program at no damn time just because she went there and she could pull up to them living rooms with the coaches of these set programs to help land these players, bro. Because that's what collegiate sport has turned into this.
No more Iowa's upcoming season. It focused on the extent of Caitlin Clark's impact and whether a professional athlete ought to serve as a collegiate program kingmaker. Let's now clarify what Clark's legacy at Iowa already looks like. She did more than merely make arguments. She established an empire. Her games turned into occasions. To see her perform, fans came from all across the state.
Goes on to say the Iowa Hawkeyes have made a massive leap in recruitment in the last few years. Bet you they did. Wink, wink. In April of 2024, the program secured a commitment from Addie Deal, a top recruit from California. This year, the team has already landed a 5-star recruit from another.
Records were broken by her jersey sales. Her highlights went viral across all platforms. She made Iowa a household name across the country. And just the financial impact is astounding. Sales of tickets soared. The media went crazy. They gained leverage when the initiative began to generate revenue.
Jensen addressed the media this week, which we're going to listen to some of this, sharing how she managed to stay focused and keeping the in-state talent while also taking the recruiting coast to coast. Jensen believes that former point guard Caitlin Clark, WNBA superstar, deserve credit for attracting some of the top recruits to Iowa, bro. Hands down, Iowa wouldn't be able to do this.
Had previously. Jensen wasn't merely referring to inspiration when she stated that Clark assisted in attracting recruits. She was teasing something much more significant, something that, in ways we have never seen before, blurs the distinction between professional and college influence. This is when things start to get interesting. 5 top prospects, all of whom were much sought after by institutions with larger resources, deeper pockets, and more successful winning histories, were recently acquired by Iowa. How did an Iowa City school accomplish that? Jensen claims that in practically every conversation, Caitlin Clark's name was the silent closer. These players are more than just gifted. These 5-star athletes watched Clark rule the college game as children. They've seen her make comebacks, hit logo threes, and reshape the landscape of what women in basketball could achieve. For them, playing for a good team isn't the only reason to join Iowa. It's about joining a movement and continuing the tradition Clark established. In their commitment interviews, a number of these candidates even acknowledged her impact, pointing to her modesty and passion as key determinants of their choice. However, it is more than just inspiration. A 5-star guard recruit from California is being courted by all of the nation's top programs. She went to Iowa anticipating the typical sales pitch and tour. The appearance of Caitlin Clark was unexpected. In a candid, intimate discussion without any cameras or media circus, Clark discussed the significance of Iowa to her and how the program influenced her life. Insiders claim that was the final nail in the coffin. Imagine being 17 years old, considering your options, and hearing directly from the most well-known women's basketball star why you ought to attend her old school. It goes beyond just recruiting. That is a completely different matter, something for which the NCAA has no playbook. This is when the inevitable NIL conversation starts. Rumors that Clark gave Iowa's NIL Collective an anonymous donation, giving the program a financial advantage in recruiting wars, have been circulating for months. Although no one has been able to provide convincing confirmation, Jensen's remarks gave that notion new life. In the history of women's basketball, Clark is among the best-paid players. She has brand partnerships, advertising, and endorsement arrangements. She has actual financial power. And it completely changes the game if she funnels even a little portion of that back into Iowa's recruitment efforts. NIL has already made college athletics a pay-to-play environment. However, this would be going beyond that. Schools are no longer the only ones vying for athletes. Professional athletes may now be supporting their alma maters financially, establishing dynasties that go much beyond their playing careers. Clark isn't technically allowed to work as a recruiter. NCAA regulations make that very clear. Here's the catch, though. She can exert power without a formal title. No compliance department can control the weight of her presence alone. It sends a message each time she travels to Iowa, whenever she mentions the Hawkeyes on social media, and each time she attends a game. Great players aren't the only ones from Iowa. Greatness remains tied there. Almost no other school can match the enduring connection that Clark has with the program. Additionally, it is providing Iowa with a recruitment edge that is hard to measure and indisputable. Meanwhile, the WNBA is observing all of this with conflicting emotions. On the one hand, the league gains a great deal from Clark's star power. Every time she performs, ticket sales soar. TV ratings are skyrocketing. Products are flying off the shelves. She is the WNBA's most marketable player ever. Her ongoing impact on Iowa's recruiting, however, is now drawing attention back to the collegiate game and might even eclipse her career achievements. The league already faces challenges in comparison to the NCAA, particularly in terms of fan engagement and visibility. Given how prominent and culturally significant her college career was, Clark's WNBA debut season nearly felt like a regression in terms of media attention. Now, this recruiting scandal is taking center stage once more, rekindling discussions about her Iowa heritage rather than her present league achievements. Behind closed doors, according to sources, WNBA executives are silently worried. If one athlete can so successfully support the recruiting efforts of her previous program, why can't others do the same? Could this result in WNBA players handpicking the next generation of talent for their alma mater and turning collegiate basketball into a network of pro-driven endorsements? The league is unprepared for this precedent, and the NCAA lacks explicit regulations to deal with it. Clark's loyalty is admired by some WNBA players. Some believe it gives unfair benefits. It was stated clearly by one unnamed player. It would be considered tampering if a legend from South Carolina or the Yukon did this. But everyone rejoices because it's Caitlin Clark. That remark reveals a more significant reality. Because of her fame, Clark is protected from criticism that most athletes would experience. Because of her enormous influence, neither league is willing to publicly oppose her. The gender double standard argument comes next. LeBron James and Steph Curry, two male basketball greats, publicly defend their alma mater without drawing criticism. They support initiatives, coach aspiring athletes, and attend games. No one asks themselves if they are doing unethically. Why, then, ought Caitlin Clark to receive any special treatment? Her advocates contend that women's sports are in dire need of this. Celebrity athletes are helping others, uplifting the next generation, and leveraging their platform for causes greater than themselves. However, detractors argue that when public trust is shaped by perception, intent is irrelevant. The recruiting landscape is drastically changed in ways that compromise competitive balance if candidates think that a professional athlete's endorsement carries financial clout. The WNBA and Iowa's sports department have not responded to Jensen's remarks. No official declarations, explanations, or damage mitigation. It's the kind of strategic silence that says a lot. Both parties appear happy to let the plot develop organically in the hopes that the anticipation of the next season will change the subject. In actuality, though, everyone in the basketball community is aware of what just transpired. Caitlin Clark reminded everyone that even when the last buzzer sounds, she still has power. She does more than just create games. She is influencing every aspect of women's basketball infrastructure, including professional arenas and college gyms. The way Iowa has transformed Clark's reputation into a self-sustaining recruiting engine is what makes this situation so intriguing. They did more than simply acknowledge her accomplishment and go on. It served as the foundation for their whole persona. Clark's story is used in every recruiting video, college tour, every interaction with a possible commit. The pitch is straightforward, but incredibly powerful. Become the next Caitlin Clark by moving to Iowa. This isn't a sales tactic. It is a tried-and-true formula that strikes a deep chord with candidates from underrepresented backgrounds or rural communities. Iowa is a symbol of the belief that devotion and hard work are still more important than publicity. The ability of a Midwest program to create international superstars and the emotional bond that cannot be purchased with money alone. Nobody knows this better than Jensen and Blood. Their approach to coaching combines sincere mentoring with Clark's aura. They promise growth rather than fame. Recruits are shown that Clark's success was not just due to his innate talent. It was the result of Iowa's culture, system, and